President Mehta hosted 5 leaders of the DP allied parties to focus on resolving the political crisis and to initiate a meeting between Rama and Basha. The Socialists will go to the local elections with the Coalition Alliance for a European Albania, consisting of 24 political forces. Talon Bala expressed his conviction that there will be no postponement of the election date. About 800 students have applied for studies in the US for 2018, a figure that marks a 30% increase compared to the previous year. It's 6 o'clock on Tuesday, the 30th of April 2019. Good evening and thank you for tuning in to RTV Ora's English edition. My name is Alexandra, bringing you the only daily update of the local Albanian news translated into English. The leaders of minor political parties in Albania and allies of the Democratic Party arrived on time today at the presidency for their meeting with the Republic's President Ilir Mehta regarding the country's current political crisis. President Ilir Mehta is expected to also have talks with other political parties after this initial meeting with 5 of the Democratic Party's allies. The meeting lasted approximately an hour at the presidency. Republican Party leader Fatmir Mediu said that the messages from the Berlin summit must be read. President Mehta received the leaders of the political parties of the Republican Party, the Environmentalist Agrarian Party, the Movement for National Development, the Demo-Christian Party and the Union for Human Rights Party in his office for a meeting as requested by them. President Mehta expressed deep concern regarding the serious constitutional, institutional and representational crisis the country is facing. The head of state stressed that he had previously warned of the necessity to urgently approach dialogue and to avoid any actions that may escalate conflict. President Mehta underlined that he has made every effort to promote the implementation of justice reform with constitutional principles that would guarantee the balance of the system in a functional state of law. If this had happened, the current political crisis would not have been able to occur in such large-scale proportions. The head of state expressed concern that by not having all opposition parties of the last parliamentary legislature register for the election, not only is the adherence to political standards at risk, but it also creates a situation of political pluralism in the country. President Mehta emphasised that it is never too late to reflect and find solutions that would restore constitutional, institutional and democratic normality to the country. After the meeting with President Mehta, the chair of the Republican Party, Fatmir Mediu, gave a press statement. On behalf of the 5 chairmen of the allied parties of the Democratic Party, Mediu thanked the president and expressed his optimism that there will be discussions with other parties in order to resolve the political crisis. I want to thank the president for a very open discussion about our concern. We need to prevent the country from going into conflict. We also need to be clear on the messages coming from Berlin. The president has done everything so that the judiciary serves the Albanian citizens and has taken initiatives with both the majority and the opposition so that the elections are as comprehensive and constitutional as possible. The president praised the demands of our parties. In assessing our request, he will also take action to hold discussions with other political parties. I think that the President of the Republic is not only concerned about the situation in the country, but he is also engaged with other parties to encourage them to respond, said Mediu. The meeting was requested by the chairman of these parties in order to find a solution for the current political and institutional crisis in Albania. The 5 allies of the DP asked for mediation by President Mehta, the EU and the OSCE in order to resolve the dispute between the ruling majority and the opposition. The Socialist Party will go to the June 30th elections with the Alliance for a European Albania coalition. 24 parties have signed the agreement of cooperation that will see them go to the election as the AES coalition. The General Secretary of the Socialist Party, Talon Bala, after a meeting with the allies, which lasted around 1 hour, declared anyone who attempted to boycott elections would be shown to their prison cells. Bala avoided questions from journalists regarding a possible discussion table mediated by the president, though he did not exclude the possibility of reaching a deal. I have no comment on the alliances or coalitions that arise over the principle of opposing the people's vote, because it must be clear that the elections are for the people and the parties have a duty to take part in the elections. A party that does not participate in elections is not a political one, added Bala. The deadline for the registration of coalitions for the June 30th elections is May the 2nd. Part of the left-wing coalition includes those parties who have traditionally allied with the Socialist Party. However, when comparing to the 2015 elections, the left-wing coalition has shrunk by 15 political parties, with those such as the Socialist Movement for Integration and the Party for Justice, Integrity and Unity shifting their alliances. One day after meeting with Chancellor Merkel, Prime Minister Edi Rama attended meetings with representatives of the Bundestag in Berlin. Through an announcement on Twitter, Rama explains that the message was clear. Albania deserves recognition of the achievements through the formal opening of membership negotiations. Responding to the media that wrote about Albania's future and the Serbia-Albania dialogue in Berlin, Rama writes that Albania will never fail and dialogue will continue without conditions or prejudices from anyone. The Albanian Prime Minister met today with the SPD Chair, Andrea Nales, and Deputy Chair of the CDU's parliamentary group, Johan Wadapul. The Prime Minister explained to Mrs Nales that with the reforms undertaken by the Albanian government, the expectation is for a positive response from EU member states for the opening of negotiations. Mrs Nales assured Mr Rama that of the unconditional support of the Social Democratic Group for the opening of negotiations between Albania and the European Union. The rapporteur for Albania in the European Parliament, Knut Fleckenstein, was also present at the meeting. Via a Facebook status, he wrote that they had a good conversation to launch the opening of negotiations in June, which he referred to as a common goal. There are over 3,000 vacancies available to anyone looking for a job. The 10th edition of the Work and Study Fair, organised by Tirana Municipality, Tirana Chamber of Commerce and Industry and the Ministry of Education and Sports, was attended by 65 companies, universities and other various institutions. The fair was held at the National Museum. The head of the Chamber of Commerce and Industry, Nicolin Yakai, invited job seekers to find their new career at this fair. Through the fair, Tirana Municipality is offering 90 various opportunities to become part of its administration in various sectors. Tirana's Mayor, Erion Veliai, invited all youth to visit the booths of this fair to start a new journey in their careers. In addition to jobs, we have some very good offers for experience. The municipality of Tirana itself has 90 open positions, including several directorates and agencies, or employment with municipal companies, such as parking lots or water supply for those who are hydro engineers. For the first time, we have introduced the concept of paid internships. At the Tirana municipality, we do not want to enrich only your CV, we want you to earn some money for your pocket too, said Veliai. Veliai urged businesses to join the Student Card Initiative by offering reduced prices for students. Meanwhile, in the National Council of Labour, Finance Minister Anila Denai stressed that the focus will be on informality, professionalism of inspectors and work safety practices. Businesses raised concerns about the lack of professionals while promising commitment in the framework of the struggle against informality. In addition to European countries, Albanian students are increasingly looking for opportunities in America. At least around 800 students applied to study in the United States in 2018. This marks a 30% increase when compared to the previous year. Albanian youth are very interested in our programs. In the last 5 years, there has been a 40% increase in the number of Albanian students going to study in the US, said Lucia Straley, Deputy Chief at the Office of Public Relations at the US Embassy. Germany remains one of the most popular destinations for youth seeking education abroad. The desire of all youth is to pursue a good quality tertiary education, and Germany is a country that offers this opportunity, said Albana Repai from the Press and Public Relations Office of the German Embassy. Students are more than happy to self-declare their desire to study abroad, as well as their reasoning for this. Germany is a country more developed than us, wages are higher, and living is better, explained one student. And that's the news across the country today. Thank you for watching our English edition this evening, and be sure to join us again every Monday to Saturday at 6 p.m. for the latest news from Albania. Once again, on behalf of RTV Ora, thank you and good night.